Hello again. You're welcome to another edition of the Now Show. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about winning in caregiving. And on this episode, we have with us a very amazing man, Dr. Ade Alakija. You're welcome to the Now Show, Dr. Alakija.
Thank you very much, Bosse.
Thank you for agreeing to be here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're talking about winning in caregiving because you have been a caregiver and you have an amazing story. You are an encouragement and an inspiration. I actually said, I must meet you when I heard your story. And I thought you had a story that you could use to encourage people out there who don't even have an idea or what caregiving is all about. And I was really blown away by everything I learned from you, about caregiving. And thank you for agreeing to be here to talk about it with a lot of people. So caregiving, what to you is caregiving, sir?
Well, good morning. Caregiving is about giving, from my perspective, care and love to somebody you know, somebody you love. There are different forms of caregiving, but from the perspective of my wife, she was a lady I loved and cared about. And that's what caregiving is all about.
So, you have a loved one, a family member, in your case, your wife, who you've known, you've lived with, your better half. You've known her for a whole number of years. In your case, you were married for like
33 years.
33 years. Precise. And you knew her for...
Dated for 7 years.
So you're talking 40 years in all.
Complete, 40 years, yes.
Then, you're living with this person, then one day you wake up unexpectedly, out of the blue, you get a diagnosis. And that changes, well, I say your lives, your world, as it were. So in your case, Auntie Fumi, one day, I understand it was your daughter's graduation. Please, can you just take up the story from there? Because I'm sure I can't say it as good as you would.
Well, Bosse,
yes.
Life's challenges come, and many of us think we don't have it in us. But if everybody looks deep down, you have something in you to give out. So never say you don't have it in you. Now, I met my wife precisely from the time she died, about 40 years in medical school. And I met her in a cafeteria. She was carrying her tray. And I told my best man at the time, sitting by me, Dr. Patrick Egbe, that I love this girl. This girl is... So he just looked, we all smiled. Well, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
We got married 7 years after dating. And... we had 3 kids, 3 lovely girls.
3 wonderful
very
daughters.
Proud of.
Yes.
And they were all born in the US. And we all lived together happily as a family. Yes. And really it was good. But I'll tell you the most important thing was my wife was very good to me. And I believe I was very good to her.
Oh, you were really good to her.
To tango.
Yes.
To tango. And love comes in different ways, in different formats. And we had a good run. We had what I would call a very good run. But unfortunately, at a point in time, she fell ill. She fell off a golf cart at her daughter's graduation in Boston College in the US. And she just felt not too good, but we managed it and went on. From the US, we came back to Lagos, and she still didn't feel good. So we went back to try to find out what the problem was. So she had a series of operations, and she felt better. Operations on the neck, and she felt better. But as time went on, her condition didn't improve. So we went back to the US, to Emory, where she was being looked after, where she had the surgery. And they told her, to cut a long story short, that she has ALS. And ALS is like a death sentence. Once you have ALS, it's called, for those who don't know, it's called Lou Gehrig's disease or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. That's a full name. And that is the motor neurons, the nerves in the body, are being damaged by the body's own antibodies. Now, what causes it?
No one knows.
Nobody really knows, but the diagnosis is not good. So we knew she had a lifespan, and gradually it started eating at her. We took medications that may prolong but would not stop it. And she gradually lost her functions of using her hands, being able to talk, being able to eat. And so communication got harder and harder to a point where the point we reached was the next step: was she be intubated? Would she have artificial breathing and everything? But before we got there, she passed on the 18th of April, 2018.
We're so sorry for your loss. We know that it was a huge loss, and it still is. But you have done so well. And you said something. You said she was very good to you. And you also were good to her. Because I remember when I heard your story, I actually did say in my local dialect, the Yoruba language that we speak, that as in, are there still men like this? Because you paid attention to her. I understood you said to yourself that you were going to be the one to take care of her. You were going to give her everything she needed. You refused caregivers, professional caregivers. Yes, both of you are medical doctors. We're medical doctors. She was a medical doctor. You are a medical doctor. It wasn't just about the medical doctor thing, but giving her the physical care that she needed. And I just thought that was mind-blowing. You gave up everything. You set aside your work, your normal life with your friends, the boys' nights out, everything, just to be there. And that for me was so I just want us to talk about it, because people think, especially the Nigerian men or the African men, the black men, like people would say, don't just say it's African men, that it's black men, They think caregiving is, I've provided the money, so let the caregivers come and give her the care. I come in and say, how's she doing? And it's more than that. And so I need you to really,
Okay,
I know.
I'll give you the care story.
Please do.
Yes, the care story. But before I get there, I'll tell you, I had incredible support from her family,
Yes,
my family, my children,
your daughters,
and
incredible
friends.
daughters. Yes,
and luckily a lot of my close friends, because I'm a medical doctor,
yes,
were doctors.
yes.
So the journey. When she was diagnosed with that ailment, I quickly read up a lot of the literature. ALS was something you learned in medical school. You just read one page and that was
And
over.
that was
You
it.
never
You
heard
didn't know
anything
you were
about
going
it.
to.
I never knew I was going to face it at the end of the day.
Yes.
So we started the journey, and then she started losing her functions gradually, and so I started looking after her. Bit by bit, we'll travel to go and see doctors, different consultants. We went to Germany, we went to the US, we went to the UK, and each step of the way, luckily, but I won't say luckily because it's still unlucky, ALS gives you time.
Okay.
It's a gradual process. So it was a 7-year journey.
Okay.
But it is relentless and doesn't stop. So it just keeps on hacking away at you. You start losing your body functions bit by
Everything.
bit. So as she stopped being able to do things for herself, I started giving her a bath. I started assisting with her feeding, of course with family support. And as her feeds got longer, the baths were a bit easier because you just give a bath. But the feeds got longer and longer. I would sit down and feed her. 1 spoon at a time. It went from like an hour to like 2 hours and 3 hours. But because of the love and the care for a great lady, she was a great lady, I did all that. Yes. You know, and I had a bit of time. Luckily, I was on a semi-retired period, but I had time, so I gave it to her. But due to the advice of my friends, all my colleagues, and I'll say this to anybody who is a caretaker, they all kept on saying, Ade, I hope you're looking after yourself.
Because it's important that you also look after yourself.
Yes. Very important.
Yes.
So I started thinking, what are these guys saying? My friend Patrick will phone, my friend Yemi, Jide, all will phone and say, Ade, I hope you're looking after yourself. Yeah, we know you're looking after Fumi and Fumi as well. Yes. So I started devising means of staying healthy. And one of them is when you're feeding a very ill person, yes, I would give her a spoon, and instead of sitting down for 2 to 3 hours, I'll give her a spoon while she's chewing on that for 1 minute, about that. Taking the meal, I walk up and down my stool to keep me active. Then I come and sit down again, give her a spoon, and walk up and down. I do things in between. So that way I got a lot of exercise in. You know, so I was active, because you cannot be sedentary whilst looking after a person. Because the doctors know, and that is certain, that if you look after people, the caretaker usually gives up. This is even in the US. One of my friends from the US gives up the ghost before the person they are caring. So the caretaker must be looked after, and I'm glad for all that advice. I looked after myself. Now, gradually, it got to a point where she could not feed herself, and I could not even really feed her. She couldn't get in enough nutrients. So they had to put a tube in her stomach, a feeding tube, which was done in the UK, and she started feeding from there. At that point, we got additional help. So we got, first of all, one additional help. It was a nursing caregiver. And then later we got a second help. So we had 2 people assisting with the process. So you have to know where you have to stop and get help. There's no way, you cannot do it all on your own. Help is expensive too, so yes, you have to monitor the right. It's expensive, but you have to get good help to make the person's life a bit more comfortable. If you get somebody that's not good enough and doesn't understand, you may make your spouse or the person you're looking after miserable.
I know that, you paid a lot of attention to her, because I know you had to make several trips and you were always there alone with her most of the time. She was given a time frame within which you all expected that she wouldn't go beyond, but to the surprise of her medical care personnel, she lived much longer, right? How much time did she have, and how much longer? And I believe that, of course, is this love and care, time that you gave to her. I just want you to talk a bit about this. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
It's an emotional thing.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
We went to the US, and her doctor there really gave her less than 3 years to live from the diagnosis. But she added like another 3 to 4 years.
4 years.
And she was very spiritual. She believed in God. She prayed regularly. And that's the way she ran her clinic and her business.
Yes.
So she held on to her God till the very last. Now, when we traveled, I had to look after her personally, and we got to more intimate with ourselves. I had to clean her, brush her teeth, feed her, and everything, even the tube feed. And it brought us closer.
Yes.
It brought us closer. And it's really a miracle. She lived the extra 4 years. And I think for people out there, I'll advise that the care you give to somebody The one-on-one, that personal touch really goes a long way to making the person feel comfortable, live longer, and live better. And it's also good for you.
Yes.
Really, you feel better as well. So I would say it was a nice experience, an experience of life. I don't wish anybody out there to go through it. But if you have to, please take care. Just take care of the person. Love the person. She was a lovable person. She gave her all to her family, and her children, they all gave their all back to her.
So it's about giving and receiving.
It's
so
about
it's
giving
what you gave.
Yes, what you gave.
What you gave. And she really received a lot from you, your daughters, family. Everybody was there for her. And of course, God was there for her,
God,
definitely.
so.
For God to have confounded everybody and given her more time than she was given, even double,
Time.
She was so 3 years, she lived for another, extra 4.
Years.
So 7 years in all. It could only have been God. And I did say to you that I'm sure, God, who knew the end from the very beginning, brought both of you together those 40 years ago for a time like this, a time that she would be loved this way by you, and for you to now use that to talk to other people and encourage them that you actually can win in caregiving. It's not a death sentence like people think it is, because she had the best times of her life, despite the fact that we all knew that was, and you all can sit back and smile and be happy that she really did have a good time. She was happy, she gave love, she received love back, and now you can talk to other people about your experience and tell them that you can win over caregiving. And really the proper way to go about caregiving is about giving yourself out of love, the love that you give.
Absolutely. That's absolutely.
And thank you so very much. I believe that God really does have great plans for you. Definitely, He does have great plans for you, and you keep saying it. I'm sure you're saying it already, and you keep saying it. What would you say were the best times? What are the things that resonate with you from those 7 years? Because those 7 years were a new time in your relationship. Yes, you've had a fantastic marriage. I remember, making fun of you and asking you, okay, now tell me, were you like other men? Did you play? And you said, I was good to my wife. I was faithful to my wife. Not many men can say that. I mean,
so true.
That was really mind-blowing for me, because I'm like, okay, maybe, that was a time that you now thought, God is punishing me for my sins. Okay, let me now give my time. But it was not that. It was love, because you were emphatic. I was faithful to her. You were good to her, and so it wasn't like maybe a guilt trip thing for you to give her that care. It was out of the love and that you felt for her. So, what were those things that
those last 7 years?
Yes.
How do I capture it? Yes, I was faithful for her over the last 30 years. I slept with no other woman, and that's the truth, the honest truth. She was religious. We had a one-on-one. She encouraged me to go to church. I never used to be a church goer. So the last 7 years were like...
See why I said you're an amazing man. You really are amazing, honestly, Dr. Alakija. Oh my God. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Yes, sir. He created you special. I will tell you that. And you're blessed. You're blessed.
So the last 7 years, well, the trips we had together for her medical care, we bonded more because there was nobody around. It was mainly me and her. The occasional help from 1 or 2 people. And when we went to Mayo Clinic in the US, where she was getting that one-on-one attention, it was interesting. We explored together, pushing her in her wheelchair, talking to her when she could still talk, and the learning to communicate, the using the charts as things got worse, and everything. They were all bonding times. And even feeding her with a tube, we would talk. She would send messages. She would say if she's uncomfortable or not, and then helping her with her phone, all bonding to send messages, text messages, and things like that. And the strength of all things, she was still going to work. She still went to work up till the last 3 days of her death.
You said so.
She had a lot of assistants. I would assist her. We worked closely, so it really brought us closely together. And yes, those were very good days and bad days. But
there's also a lot to draw from what she did, the way she lived her life, because she didn't just take this and sit at home and not do anything.
Absolutely.
She was very active, still going to work until.
Absolutely. She never gave
3
up.
days.
Yes.
Using the best around her, giving it. That was, and it's to me, she actually lived and showed people that God created her to have dominion. And she's showing that despite this diagnosis, despite what people will call this disadvantage, I'm still myself. I'm still who God has created me to be. I'm still the Olufunmilayo Alakija that God gifted this world with. And she really showed that to everybody.
Absolutely.
Because even after people can still talk about her and say, wow, she worked. She was there for her patients. She was there for her family. She was there for her siblings. She was there for everybody. Everyone has one good thing to say about her.
True, absolutely.
And maybe like they say that the good ones don't last. I don't know why they say those things, because
I really wonder
she
why.
truly was an angel. She truly was an angel.
She built her team.
Yes.
Got the team going, and that team, incredible. That she built everywhere. In her family, there was a team, and they all loved it. So they worked.
And everything is still running.
Everything
she built is still running.
To her glory. And they all rallied around her when she was ill.
Yes.
All worked.
Yes.
So my message to you out there is just build a nice team around
That's
you.
right. That's right.
Don't be selfish. Don't be scared. Just build something good around you, and you will be rewarded for it. She did it.
Because some people that they are diagnosed with some terminal illness or something, they actually become monsters. Nobody can stay around them.
If I interrupt you a minute, she always had a great smile around her. Even in her most extreme, she always had that smile. And people remember her for that smile, even up to the last moment.
So she actually made even caregiving so easy. Absolutely. Because she was receptive and, she gave it all. Because some people would actually, want to be alone. They would become, like recluses, as it were, be on their own, and everybody would not want to come near them. But she made it easy for, she drew people. So she drew strength, she gave strength, she drew strength. That's something that, is really encouraging and inspiring. Two wonderfully created people.
Thank you
together,
so much,
giving so much and creating more wonderful people around them. I mean, it's a world of the Alakijas. You've created wonderful people around and you've built. I really thank God for your life, sir. I really thank God for your life and for what you're doing. And you said to me, of course, going back to an empty bed was difficult for you.
Absolutely. That is difficult. It's lonely, but one has to learn to live with it.
Yes. So God is there for you, pulling you through.
Amen.
It is well with you, sir. Thank you very much again for agreeing to speak with us. And I know God is with you. He will continually be with you. He has your back. He has the backs of your daughters and the entire family. As for me, his dad, the entire family, everybody, it's been, but one thing that I'm grateful to God for is that she left a legacy. She really left a legacy.
She did.
You have the foundation now in her honor.
Dr. Olufunmilayo Alakija Foundation.
Well done. Well done on that. Well done on that.
I had to honor her.
Yes. And what do you want to achieve with that foundation? What is it
to help
to be about?
The impoverished, especially from a medical point of view. So we have different ways of tackling it. We're sponsoring student, preferably a medical student at Lagos Business School, who is doing an MBA and who will do administrative things in the medical sector, help medical.
Wow.
We're sponsoring outreaches for people, and we plan to also ultimately sponsor some research, not much, but minimum research to aid with medical care.
Well done. Well
After
done.
care in medicine is the greatest thing than the medicine itself.
Self. Well done. Well done. Well done. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for talking to us. And who knows? We just may have to come back to you, because I'm sure people, we have questions, we have things that they want to, because if I choose so much strength from you, not even, thankfully I'm not a caregiver, I'm not there yet. If I have to, I now know how to go about it. So I'm sure people would want to, I hope you don't mind if we have to bring you back again to talk to people.
Not a problem. But my advice
Thank
to
you.
everybody out there is this, especially the men.
Yeah. No, you
Love
need to talk to the men. Oh.
your wife.
You need to talk to the men.
Don't say you don't have it in you. You have it in you. Every human being has it in them.
Yes.
Love your wife, care for her, or before she falls ill.
Before she falls ill.
And even if she falls ill, please do not abandon her. Caring has its blessings from God.
Yes.
And I'll say it openly, I've received so many blessings after her departure. Only God knows why. It's unbelievable. And I thank God for my children and the family. With her family, I'm a brother, not an in-law. So these blessings come. Care for your wife, care for your spouse, care for your family, everybody. It is good. It's good. And God's decree to man.
And to show how much of a family man Dr. Alakija is, he actually graced us with the presence of his personal assistant, his beautiful daughter. She's been here all through. You need to come and give me a hug so that they can meet you. Amazing.
Isn't that wonderful?
Thank you so much for agreeing to come with that to do this. Thank you. We're really so grateful. We're really so grateful to God for you. Thank you, because you've been a blessing, and we thank God for your lives. We thank God for your lives. There's so much more for you to do, and I know that. Bless you. Bless you.
Okay, boss, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And
Thank
I'll come
you.
back again and again
Yes,
and again
yes,
if I have
please.
to.
Yes, please.
Well, what can I say about life? It's a journey. But the good in us stays with us. Keep good. Continue to bank your goodwill with people. Will feed you back with the goodwill. Love your life. Love your wife. Love your family at all times. And always remember God. No matter what. I may not remember to pray, but I always remember God and put Him in the elements of things. Thank you and have a great day.